Terence de Pentheny O'Kelly, Senior Engagement Manager with Customer First Renewables. So over the next couple of years, I think that we're finally going to start seeing a growth in utility demand from solar and wind projects. It's been a few years in the coming. They've been waiting to see the market evolve, but I think finally recognizing the demand from their end users, we're seeing more and more RFPs coming out from the utility space. Equally, on the C&I front, there's going to be an increase in demand, I think, from slightly smaller companies. The largest Fortune 500 big players who led the way will likely start to recede a little bit in prominence, and we'll see more and more mid-sized corporations looking to satisfy their sustainability goals. Yes, I think developers will need to take more, will need to accept more risks in PPAs in order to close transactions as more and more developers recognize the demand, in particular from C&I off-takers for risk mitigation in their contracts, whether that be through delivery at a hub rather than a node, whether that be a shorter term contract, or whether that be with some sorts of downside protections built in. We're going to be seeing a greater preponderance of developers offering those, and that's going to drag the whole segment to offer those too. So there's a number of regions around the country that still don't have strong or any net metering policies. The existence of some way for C&Is to monetize the excess output of any solar behind the meter system is going to be important to help proliferate that deployment over the years ahead. Even if systems are sized below the load of a given C&I, when that building is occupied, there are still the weekend hours, which typically the demand from those sites won't exceed the supply from the behind the meter generation, and in particular that's what needs to be addressed. It could be through net metering tariffs or programs like I just described. Equally, the combination of storage behind the meter will help facilitate those deployments. So this is going to be a pretty important time, I think, for the solar industry over the next couple of years as the industry figures out how to mitigate the impact of the import tariff that was recently announced. So a significant opportunity will be for those developers that are able to find ways to maintain the low pricing that we've been seeing of late despite the import tariff. And the second, I think, key opportunity will be for those project developers and EPCs and financiers that are able to integrate storage with their solar facilities in a seamless way that is advantageous or attractive for off-takers, both C&I and utilities. So we're seeing a number of, say, non-traditional terms. One of them is the tenor of the contracts, seeing those becoming shorter and shorter. 12 years, perhaps as low as 10, may well start to emerge pretty soon. The second is a increasing interest in shaped delivery, so no longer on a unit contingent basis, but looking for a firm delivered shape seems to have appeal both for utilities and for C&Is. And then lastly, we're seeing developers become more and more creative with the risk protection terms they're willing to include for C&I contracts. So things like downside protections and things of that nature that are helping build comfort amongst the C&I offtake community. I expect that we will see a greater number of transactions that are all going to be at a smaller scale than what we've seen historically. I think the era of the big tech companies signing multi-hundred megawatt PPAs is going to start fading, but they will be replaced by a bigger number of smaller offtake interest from CNIs around the country.